Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Wartrain here. If you're new, do me a favor, please subscribe and click the notification bell down below so you guys can be notified of all my new videos. And if you guys enjoyed this video, do me a favor and give it a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. And with that said, guys, today's video we're going to check out a PS4 controller that is broken, and I'm going to fix it. I'm doing somebody a favor. She had a yard sale in June, sold me great stuff at super low price, so I have no problem returning a favor because I know this woman from high school, and she accidentally sold her son's PlayStation 4 controller at the yard sale, and then she bought him a new one at Best Buy, which is this guy, which was actually a used one, but it still was like $50 most likely, and it stopped working after about a week, and she doesn't have the receipt anymore, so GameStop's not going to help her out. So she sent me a message on Facebook asking me if I could help her out, because she knows I know how to fix things and stuff. So yeah, because, well, I have this one because what I suspect is that the battery on hers is not working correctly, because the when you plug it in, the light, it kind of just flashes on and then goes out. So I'm thinking it's one of two things. It's either a loose port here, which the port is definitely loose, I could tell that, but I don't know if there's some kind of a loose connection because of that, or the battery is shot. And that's why I have this controller right here, because this is one of my old ones, and this thing, you can see it's pretty messed up. So I kept it around just for parts. So I'm going to snag some parts out of here, most likely the battery and possibly the port, depending on what the situation is. So I'm going to open this thing up and see what's going on. So let's check it out. All right, so let's see. This guy uses just a Phillips head screwdriver, so pretty standard stuff. I got a nice little kit here. Now, this little kit that I have here, I actually got off of Amazon. And if you need any tools to work on controllers or any of your systems, Amazon is a great place to look, and you can also find some pretty good stuff on eBay too. Just kind of looking for a fairly good size here. I want to keep it really close because I don't want to strip any of these screws by any I don't even want to chance it. But I have a lot of this stuff to begin with because I'm an electrician, so I have tons of tools. But I usually try to fix any controllers or consoles that I have problems with. So I have all this stuff because I like to take my stuff apart anyway and clean it if there's a problem, or just clean it because it's dirty and I just don't like it being all nasty. But let's see if we can get this working for her. Hopefully it's just something pretty simple. But yeah, I understand that really stinks. You know, she tried to get her son's the stuff back, and it didn't work after a week, and these kind of things happen. So I took out all the screws, and now I have this little tool. It's nice because you're able to get in there and kind of pry things apart without having to like dig your nail and stuff in there. So definitely a good tool to have for stuff like this. Because I've kept PlayStation controllers around just for things like this, which I never actually had to take one apart. So this is the first time for me. So it's actually going to be a learning experience as well. But I figured I would film it. That way, if somebody ran into a similar problem, maybe they could check it out. And this thing is being difficult because it just wants to keep going back together. Let's see if I can pop something in there to hold it. Alright, so got that side cracked open, because yeah, I don't see any other screws or anything there. Yeah, it's just a matter of taking it apart and keeping it apart, because it's made to stay together, so it definitely just wants to pop back in place. Alright, so there we go. I got it apart. And I dropped a little bumper there, which ain't a big deal because they just kind of sit right in there. So, let's see if, I don't know, I might have to take them out anyway, but alright, so that thing's back on now. Okay, so let's see what's going on here. Okay, so I don't know if you can see this here. Try to turn this. There's a little, this is the light inside here, so it's got just like a little plastic cover, and then you have this ribbon cable that's going down there. So let me see if I can disconnect this ribbon cable from the board. Yeah, so it just pulls right out. It's blue on the back side. So I just pulled that out, and that disconnects it from the main part of the controller. What a real pain. I'm actually going to go ahead too, and I'm going to disconnect this battery. And that just pops out. I just disconnected it from right here on the board, and it pops right out, and that's that. Alright. So now we're left with this little piece here. Super small parts. Just want to take a look at this ribbon cable. It's kind of creased a little funky. And it's just, want to make sure it's not like damaged. And this little port is very small, so I got a magnifying glass here. I'm going to see if I can actually like look in there and see if any of the stuff looks messed up, which I don't really see anything. Alright. So I could just leave all this stuff and just swap the batteries right now with the one I have. Just curious how loose this port is, and I want to see what's kind of holding it. Let me, I'm going to stick something kind of in it and see if I can jiggle it around a little. Well, it seems kind of sturdy now. Alright, so I'll sit that there so you can kind of see. So now I'm going to open up my black one here that's all messed up. And this thing that I got is just a mess. The kids, you know, they would be using it, especially my little guy when he was a little smaller, and he would eat, you know, powdered donuts and stuff, and play games, and there was all kinds of crud getting in the controller. It was pretty nasty. So, you know, I could, you know, take, because I have other ones that are messed up. I could take them and probably fix at least a couple of them, but I replaced them at this point, so that's not a big deal. Some of them were actually from when I first got my system, so they've taken a beating. And controllers, I mean, they're expensive, but after a while, I don't mind getting other ones. Especially too, they come out with some cool looking ones. So I've got some way cooler ones now. Alright, let's see how popping this guy open, if it's going to give me as much trouble. Alright, so use this little tool again to kind of pop this guy open. And I don't know if you can hear it, but behind me I have my PlayStation on. I can hear the startup screen kind of running. But yeah, these things are kind of a pain just to pop open initially. So I'm trying to be somewhat gentle with it. I don't want to break stuff, even though I don't care if this one gets broken because it already kind of is. So, like I said, they want to just go back together. So, because before I took this little pick, guitar pick that was in my kit, and kind of wedged it in so that way when I try to pry open the other side, let's see, so you can see the guitar pick there. So I wedged that into one side and then try to pop open this other side, and there's a lot of gunk coming out of this one, which is kind of gross. Let's see if I can pull it. Alright, so we got it apart. Alright, let me pull this ribbon cable right away. Alright, get my pick back. Alright, so now I got this one out, and the battery right away is just kind of flopping around in there. But, I mean, I really could take a look at this thing now and see if that could even be fixed. The thumbstick is just really messed up on this thing. So here's the battery, and I am going to pull the battery cable, and you got to watch, you got to grab this by the white part here. You do not want to grab it by the cables and pull, because you'll wind up ripping this piece right off. Those wires are super small. So yeah, that's that. And then you can look in here. It's pretty cool stuff. You got the rumble motors here, and just your main board there, and you got your little triggers, and then your bumpers. And this is where the piece where the ribbon cable plugged in, and the part where the battery plugged in is over here. So I'm going to take a look at my old one versus this one. I'm just curious, and they're pretty much the same. There's a piece of foam, like a black piece of foam right here. It's hard to see on the black one, but there's a piece of foam there, and it's just like a cushion. But it's weird because this stuff is like reversed on this one. So this is my black one is an older design. You can see even by the plastic is different. It's just different stuff. But alright, so now I got the batteries confused. No, I think this is the good one here. So now I got my new battery out of the one I just pulled out of my black one, and then here's the old one. So now I'm going to pop this into the new one, or the hers, and try to get it working. So let's see what happens. So let's see, this is her backing here. So what I want to do first is I want to plug in this ribbon cable here. And mine hasn't been charged probably in a long time. So hopefully things ain't flopping all over the place here. But I want to test this first without like closing this all up. Alright. So you got to be super gentle on this stuff, because you do not want to rip the ribbon cable. Okay, ribbon cable is plugged in. Alright, so now I am going to plug in the battery. Okay, let's see here. Everything is super small. It's one thing I hate working with super small stuff because it's hard to see and it's hard to hold and it breaks really easy. Alright, so I am going to pause the video and I am going to hook this thing up to a TV and see if it turns on and if it will hold a charge. So I will get back to you. Okay guys, so this took a little longer than I was expecting. Let me show you here. So now the controller that I'm giving her is black. Okay, here's her controller. It's in pieces, and there's a reason for that. Well, I tried to swap out just the power ports. Or the battery. Well, first I checked my cable. My cable was giving it power, but it just lit up like a yellowish color. Okay, so it lit up and it would go out, and it would just keep doing that. And then I checked mine, and mine worked. It was just the thumbstick was messed up. So what I was going to try to do is I was going to try to keep her controller, well, because I found out, I think her battery was good. It was actually her board, the main board in there. There was a lot of corrosion and stuff, but by that point, once I dug into it, once I was past the battery and, you know, figuring out that it wasn't the port, wasn't the battery, because I actually swapped that with mine. I swapped my battery and put my port into her controller, and it still did the same thing. So that told me all that stuff was fine. So it was actually in the front end of the controller. So it was actually something to do with the board. I checked all those connections. They were all fine. So something else was going on. So there was a lot of dirt and some possible spots on the board that were suspicious. So I was like, yeah, I'll just give her my guts. And I tried to swap the guts, And then I found out that they're not exactly the same. They don't fit the housing because mine is an original, like one of the original PS4 lines, and hers is a newer PS4 controller, being that it's, you know, this clear color. So I wasn't able to do that. It just didn't go back together. So yeah, it didn't work. So now this one is the one that I had, and it does work. I just finished putting the screws in. I already tested it. It's dead though. I need to charge it. Let's see. So I'll do this. Swoop my camera up, and I am going to go plug it in and show you that it is now working. It just needs to charge because both of these batteries were dead. Because I started a free game that I had here, Heavy Rain. So right here, I got it plugged in. So now it's set up on here. I never played this game before. So wow, it actually looks pretty awesome. So unplug it, battery low. So it just wants to die, but it definitely just needs to charge. So I have to keep an eye on that. And if the battery doesn't hold the charge, which I'm pretty sure it's going to, then I'll just swap it out. But yeah, so she's going to have a working controller. It's not going to be, I'll leave that there on charge. It's not going to be the controller that she necessarily gave me, but she will have a working one for her sons. And technically it is kind of hers because I replaced all the buttons with her buttons. That's why there's nothing here. I took her buttons. I took her the thumbsticks. I left on my triggers. They were like good anyway. I don't even think that controller I had was that used, honestly. So I have a bag here. So this is what's left of her controller, really. But yeah, the way that the clips close, they don't fit together through the board that I had well, through the plastic housing in mine. And I didn't want to go ahead and desolder all this stuff. I mean, that's just too much work for what it is. You know, the whole idea is she just wants to have a working controller for her sons. I mean, I probably could have did that real easy, but by the time I had it all ripped apart and everything, I was like, whatever. I'm over it. But yeah, so I mean, really, I could, you know, now I got some more parts, which I don't mind having parts. I got parts for everything, but I could always, you know, fix one of my better controllers with some of these parts, because her battery's probably good still, or whatever one, mine maybe. I don't know which is which at this point. They're all mixed up, but it doesn't matter. Both the batteries are good. So I have spare batteries, spare thumbsticks, and you know, actual sticks, rumble motors, so a bunch of spare parts, buttons, whatever. Kind of cool to have the stuff because you can swap it out, and you know, because this stuff breaks, especially when you have kids, and my PlayStations get a lot of use. So yeah, she just got her housing with a PlayStation button because I left that in there. There was kind of no reason to take that out. Mine was like, looked brand new, really. Like I said, the controller I had, other than maybe a little dirt inside of it, was in really good shape. I could have fixed it real easy. The thumbstick was just messed up. I really was just doing her a favor because she hooked me up with some pretty sweet deals. Basically I have another video where I got a GameCube for $20 with a game, a controller, and a PlayStation 3 Slim working, and a PlayStation 3 Fat not working, but I still haven't dug into what's going on with that. But that's the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I wish I could have showed more, but I was sitting on the floor kind of ripping some stuff apart. Maybe I'll throw part of that video in. I'll have to see. But that's the video, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel. I try to make content like this every day. But I'm the War Train, and I'm out. Have a good one.